As great as the luxuries of city life are, nothing compares to the wild beauty of nature. Would you like to soak in an infinity pool that was made by Mother Nature herself? What's the best place in the world to find the Northern Lights? Where in the world can you find a beach that has trolls that have been turned into stone by the sun? Here are the places with the most beautiful scenery. Let's kick this thing off with Pamukkale, Turkey. Think of nature's natural infinity pool and realize that every human-made one is nothing compared to the pearly blue-white hot springs of Pamukkale, overlooking the nearby city of Denizli. But aside from an amazing soak with breathtaking views, you can also visit the ruins of Hierapolis. Things to discover in these ancient ruins are the Arch of Honor of Emperor Domitian from the 1st century, remnants of baths, a necropolis, a theater, remains of the Byzantine city walls, and the ruins of the octagonal Martyrs Church of St. Philip's. But really, it's the hot springs that will stay with you for a long time, no matter how alluring those ancient mysteries of the ruins. Next up, Miho no Matsubara, Japan. Japan has many magical places, but the one that you should definitely try to visit when you get a chance is Miho no Matsubara. Located about 45 kilometers southwest of the summit of Mount Fuji, there's a coastline grove that stretches out about 5 kilometers and is lined with majestic pine trees. And it is this grove that is known as Miho no Matsubara. Near the center of the grove, you could find a tree called Hagoromo no Matsu, which is fabled to be the setting of the legend of Hagoromo, in which a local fisherman meets a celestial maiden. Miho no Matsubara was selected as Japan's first site of beauty in 1922, a place of superior scenery with its coastal pine grove and against the stunning backdrop of Mount Fuji. And let's not forget that the beaches have black sand. Really no wonder it was the first site of beauty. And then we have Lofoten Island, Norway. Are spring and winter your favorite seasons? And have you always wondered what it would be like to experience those two seasons at the same time? Then you should visit the Lofoten Islands. Known for its remote, rugged beauty, the Lofoten Islands are technically located in the Arctic, but because of an elevation anomaly, the Lofoten Islands have some of the warmest temperatures, giving it an extraordinary climate. The waters you find here are so clear blue, they rival the Mediterranean, craggy mountains to rival Iceland, and enough funky fishing villages and edgy museums to rival any other place in Scandinavia, which also makes the Lofoten Islands the perfect location to go hunt for the aurora. Enough said. Next up, Sarakinago Beach, Greece. Greece is known for its effortlessly ancient beauty, but not everyone is interested in the busy backdrop of cities like Santorini or Mykonos. In that case, you're probably better off visiting Milos, where you'll find some of the best beaches in the Aegean, possibly in the world. Taking a swim at Sarakinico is like taking a swim on a tropical moon. You'll have a hard time believing that no human had a hand in crafting this breathtaking place. The stone is actually made of grayish-white volcanic rock, and it gets its otherworldly, strange, and sinuous shapes from centuries of waves and wind. There aren't many places like this in the world, that's for sure. And then we have Yangge-Dansha Geopark, China. But if you were looking for something that kind of sounds the same on paper as Sarakinico Beach, you could always give Yangge-Dansha Geopark in China a visit. The rainbow striations of these magical mountains aren't the result of Sharpie marketing campaign taken too far, or any other human intervention either. Centuries of tectonic shifts, climatic conditions, and the erosion of the red terrigenous sedimentary beds are the reason these colorful mountains exist. But better than imagining it was humans who made them is imagining that it must be magic that brought them into being. They sure do look stranger than fiction. Stay tuned for more places with the most beautiful scenery. On what beach were those troll columns again? What would be a great place to experience the midnight sun or polar night? And where do you go if you want to feel like you're walking around in heaven? Stick around and we'll show you. And first up, we have Antarctica. Okay, hear us out. Yes, it is cold, but it is so worth it to at least visit Antarctica once in your lifetime. Antarctica is pretty much completely uninhabited because there were no permanent residents, but there are permanent human settlements, and it's by no means impossible to visit this continent. There is literally no other place on the planet that will give you this exact spectacular environment. Even the North Pole will still not be quite the same, and even though 99% of Antarctica is covered with ice, the landscape is still surprisingly diverse. There's glaciers so blue they seem unreal, the rough waterways of the Drake Passage, active volcanoes, and the winter's lover's dream. Untouched snow everywhere, all the time. Heaven. And next we have Reynisfjara, Iceland. For For 13 years, it was forbidden for the people of Iceland to own a dog. Luckily, they realized the madness of banning man's best friend, and the rules have since changed. So there's absolutely no reason anymore to boycott beautiful Iceland, a land that isn't nearly as cold as its name would suggest. Iceland is also the home of Reynisfjara, just beside the small fishing village Vikimyrda. There, on the south coast, you'll find another one of those beautiful black sand beaches. This one is steeped in local folklore because of the large, strangely shaped basalt columns that you find on the beach. One of the tales says these columns were once trolls that tried to pull ships from the ocean to the shore, but they weren't very bright and turned into solid stone when dawn broke. It's the local magic infused into every grain of a place like this that sets it apart from all others. Following Abisko National Park, Sweden. Wandering around in a place like Abisko National Park, taking in the vast and brutal beauty of the north of Sweden sounds absolutely divine. Abisko National Park is known for its majestic mountains, gorgeous reindeer, and the blue hole of Abisko, making it the perfect place to find the northern lights. Better than any other location located within the Aurora Oval. In summer, you can experience the midnight sun and pick flowers in lush meadows. Or maybe you're in dire need of hibernation, in which case the comforting beauty of the aurora and the polar night are what you're looking for. Nights that are so clear that when the moon is full, a windless night and a snow-covered valley will be an experience that no words will ever be able to do justice. Next up, the Scottish Highlands. There's something about the rough landscape of the Scottish Highlands that makes you want to try out your own battle cry, howling not in sadness, but because it feels so good to be alive. The Highlands offer so much more to see and do than you might think if you've never taken the time to show an interest. Mythical castles and dramatic mountains, begging for adventures. There's natural beauty literally everywhere, from snowy mountain caps and clear coastal waters to babbling fairy pools and bighorn cattle. Hiking around the Highlands, you'll find rare wildlife underneath skies that seem to never end. Sleeping under the stars is a treat in a place like this. But don't forget, it can get pretty wet in the Highlands. Following, we have Kyrgyzstan. Sometimes hearing that a place is not very well known is actually a good thing, because that means the landscape has not yet been damaged and changed by humans, or at least not as much as in the West. The same goes for Kyrgyzstan. A gateway to the east, Kyrgyzstan is a hidden treasure for anyone who needs natural beauty to feel alive. It has vast, unspoiled pine forests that ask to wonder about ages gone by. In the warmer months, visitors tend to flock towards glacial lakes. During winter, semi-nomadic shepherds can take you out into the wilderness and show you scenery that only a few people will ever get to see in real life. Just because a country is unknown doesn't mean its beauty is anything that could be rivaled by what is known. And lastly, we have Salar di Uyuni. Though there are a few places like Salar di Uyuni dotted around the world, this one right here is the biggest one. Salar di Uyuni is located amid the Andes in southwest Bolivia. It's the legacy of a prehistoric lake that dried up, leaving behind a desert-like landscape of bright white salt, rock formations, and cacti-studded islands. It's one of the most extreme environments on Earth. The ecosystem of Salar di Uyuni is so unique that wildlife is rare, but for some reason, many pink flamingos have decided it's the perfect home for them. At certain times a year, nearby lakes overflow, covering the flats with a thin layer of water. This transforms the flats into infinity mirrors, reflecting back the sky in the most unreal way imaginable. It will feel like you're walking around in heaven. And that was it for places with the most beautiful scenery. Which of these did you add to your must-visit list? Let us know in the comments. And thanks for watching.